So as men get older, the refractory period can actually end up lasting the better part of a day. Well, that sounds not the better part of a day, but for many hours during a day. Hey everybody, welcome to Uncomfortable Questions. My name is Dr. Peter Stahl. I am the Senior Vice President of Sexual Health and Urology at Hims & Hers Health. I am a board-certified urologist, and I'm here today to answer some questions. We have a lot of questions today about the refractory period. So I'm going to get into answering all the specific questions that were submitted, but before I do that, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the sexual response cycle in humans. It starts with excitement, right? That's arousal, and that's when everything is getting revved up in the body. Sexual activity starts and you get into kind of what we call a plateau phase, and that is when everything is moving along and feeling good, but it's kind of a constant, unchanging level of pleasure. After the plateau phase, though, you get into a crescendo phase where there's like a sudden, rapid increase in sexual pleasure that culminates in orgasm. Orgasm is how we refer to that third phase. And then after that, there's the resolution phase. And resolution is when the refractory period happens. So that period of time during that resolution phase is when everything is resetting and your body isn't responding, right? That's the time where it's difficult to get a second erection. And that's something that bothers a lot of men. It's something that drives a lot of questions about how to make that better, how to shorten that time period. Is there any way I can get an erection? So those are the kinds of things we're going to get into today. All right, so the first question, I feel like I kind of already answered it, but like, what is the refractory period? So just to spell it out even more clearly, the refractory period is the time period after orgasm during the resolution phase of the sexual response cycle, and that's when the body is not responding the way you want it to sexual stimulation. It's the time period during which it is difficult or even impossible to regain an erection and resume sexual activity. Next question is a natural one. So like, why does that happen? What causes the refractory period? That's an easy one to answer, and the answer is we actually don't know. The way I like to think about it is just that kind of on a cellular, molecular level, all of the chemical signals, neurotransmitters, and hormones that are involved in erection and like the other phases of the sexual response cycle need a little bit of time to kind of reset. Until that reset happens and those cells are ready to get going again, there's really not much you can do. Next question here is, like, how long does the refractory period last? What is the average length of the refractory period? And we actually don't have really good normative data about that. So what we do know is that it varies from person to person and that it varies by age. So younger men generally have shorter refractory periods than older men, and healthier men tend to have shorter refractory periods than less healthy men. It can vary from, just a couple of minutes to a couple of hours to even like the better part of a day. What affects the refractory period? Like, what can I do to change or shorten my refractory period? That's a great question. The answer to that is there's not much you can do on like a minute-to-minute, day-to-day basis to change your refractory period outside of taking certain medications. What you can do is live a healthy lifestyle, make sure that the way you're eating, living, exercising is compatible with keeping your blood vessels and your cardiovascular system healthy. Because in order to get a first or a second erection, you need to have like the healthy body structures driving that process. So like in the long term, staying really healthy can help maintain a healthy refractory period as you get older. Okay, the next question is about medications. So are there medications that change the refractory period? The answer to that is actually yes. So ED medications like Viagra, Cialis, Sildenafil, Tadalafil, Stendra, Levitra, whatever, the phosphodiesterase 5 inhibitors as a class of medicines actually do work to shorten the refractory period. They make it easier to get a second erection. Why does that happen? Well, it makes sense, right? Those medications are augmenting the cellular and molecular mechanisms that bring blood into the penis and let the penis get hard. So with that little boost there for the first erection, it doesn't go away. It's still there for the second erection. So we do know from clinical studies that the use of sildenafil, for example, can shorten the post-orgasm refractory period in some men. And that's useful in enhancing sexual quality of life, particularly in men who have premature ejaculation, for whom like continued or ongoing sexual activity is really important for like happy and satisfying partnered sexual activity. Are there any non-prescription ways to shorten the refractory period? The answer is not on a short-term basis. But again, eating healthy, exercising, and keeping your heart and your vascular system healthy is going to help maintain your long-term sexual health and allow you to get, faster first and second erections as you get older. What should you do if you have questions about your refractory period? Well, talk to someone who knows what they're talking about. Do a consultation with a healthcare provider. You can, of course, do some research with, some reputable websites where we have evidence-based information that's provided. But, what you don't want to do is just look on Google and trust everything that you hear, because you're going to end up running into some problems that way. All right, so it looks like those are all the questions that you guys had. If you like what you heard and you want to learn more, like, subscribe, follow along, and I'm here in a bunch of other videos to answer any questions you have about sexual health and how to keep a good, healthy sex life going.